I'm Dr. Dave Pena, and this is how to get your dog to start communicating with you. So one of the first issues you're going to have when you get a dog, maybe one of several issues you're going to have when you get a dog, is that you don't want your dog to take a dump in your living room. And in order to avoid that, you're going to take your dog out every hour or so. Basically, from its first puppy days to about 2 to 3 months of age, probably, if you do it like the traditional way. And this is time consuming. You probably don't want to do it. You probably don't have time for that. You probably have other things to do. So you're going to try to start thinking about ways that you can get your dog to communicate to you that it needs to go outside, otherwise it stays inside the house. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. The dog is going to communicate what it wants to you when it wants to communicate it to you, rather than you communicating something you want to the dog. And this is very important. And this is the first step into allowing the dog to understand that it can communicate to you. You might say that you might not want your dog to do that. If you don't want your dog to do that, don't watch this video. Move on to something else. Continue to just command your dog and not listen to what your dog has to tell you. But if you want your dog to say things to you so that you can understand what it wants, continue watching. If you haven't seen my introduction to the Australian cattle dog, go ahead and click this link. In order to get your dog to start communicating with you, the first thing that you can teach your dog that has a very high fidelity, that is that it doesn't have a lot of noise. So when you normally speak, there's not a lot of noise per se. Every word has a meaning. Your dog-human communication doesn't really have that, especially not from dog to human, because the dog has a lot of behaviors and it's hard to determine if those behaviors are random or they're attempts to communicate with you. So in order to facilitate that communication between your dog and yourself, you need specific behaviors that you can identify that mean something. And your dog has to understand that meaning and try to convey that meaning to you for you to do something. And so the very first thing I want to teach you how to be able to do is to ring one of these little bells. So I got this little guy at Amazon.com. I'll put a link in the description below. It wasn't much, I think it was $5. It's not made of anything special. It has these two little holes. They're meant for screws. You can put screws if you want, if you're a daring person. Basically, you screw this sucker right next to the door at nose height, where they can kind of hit it with their mouth or their nose, and that's it. I didn't use nails, obviously. I used this mounting Velcro. The reason behind using the mounting Velcro is that your dog can easily pull this off. And if you have screws in your wall, or your drywall, then this will very quickly be used as a hole maker in your drywall instead of a way for you to communicate with your dog, because your dog is most likely going to try to attempt, at least on one occasion, to pull this off the wall. So if it has Velcro on it instead, then you're going to avoid damaging your wall permanently. Get one of these bells, and your dog's a puppy. I'll show you a video of my dog as a puppy learning to ring the bell for the first time, on her own. And every time you go outside, because you're going to be going outside a lot, probably once every couple hours or once every 2 to 3 hours, something like that, you're going to bait the bell with Marie doesn't like peanut butter. If your dog likes peanut butter, you can bait the bell with peanut butter. She's really into cheese, so we had squirty Cheese Whiz cheese, and we bait the bell with a little bit of that. And every time you go outside, you say, ring the bell. She goes, she licks the cheese, you open the door, and then you say, let's go outside. And you repeat that over and over and over and over and over and over again. Stop baiting the bell after about a week. Stop baiting the bell, and tell her to ring the bell, then go outside. Keep repeating this behavior as often as you go outside. And then challenge your dog. After a few weeks of doing that, challenge your dog. Challenge your dog by not taking her out, and see what happens. Most likely, she will probably pee on the floor somewhere. But if you're lucky, she will not pee on the floor, and she will go ring that bell, and you congratulate your dog, and you immediately take the dog outside. Now, from that point on, you'll probably have a few failures, trust me. Correct those failures.
Don't do it.
If you have to take the dog outside, never take the dog outside without ringing the bell. Your bell has to have 100% fidelity. 100%.
Okay.
Every single time you go outside with the dog, you ring this bell. And every time the dog rings this bell, you go outside. It doesn't really matter what else you've got going on. If you hear this bell ring, you say yay and you go outside. Why? Because dogs and other animals that are not humans need a very high prediction probability. Humans will go to casinos and press a lever even if the return is very, very low. Rats, monkeys, and dogs will not do that. If the return on something is something below 80%, but where it's not receiving rewards for things it's doing, it's not properly predicting the outcome with an 80% success rate, it's not very likely that that animal is going to continue doing that behavior. So you, as the human, need to make sure that your dog does understand that ringing this bell goes outside. In order for it to do that, it needs to have 100% fidelity in that ringing this bell always means it goes outside. Your dog's, if it's an Australian cattle dog, it's probably going to pick it up. It's going to learn how to do this. My dog does this all the time. And once your dog figures out how to do it, the next very important thing that you need to do is take this thing down. Whenever you are not going to be able to take your dog outside, you do not want the dog to be ringing the bell and not going outside. This is the very first step in getting your dog to communicate with you. If you guys have found this content useful or helpful in any way, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Hit it. I promise it's worth it. There's plenty of videos that I'm sure you're gonna like. Anyway, you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys later.